starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
You're listening to the House of Cards on Facebook, YouTube, at BigPatriotRadio.com. All licenses for music and content have been purchased by and are for the express use of Big Patriot Radio Networks. All information, opinions, and topics are for entertainment purposes and do not expressly represent the opinions of the show's host and or producer. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. And good evening. Welcome again, everybody. It is, what is it? It's the 6th of November already. Glad to have you here. I'm Mike Covert, your host and producer. We are into the turkey month. Thanksgiving is just around the corner. That means there's only six, seven, maybe 8. I think it's 7 shows left until Christmas. Wow, that is unbelievable. Again, my name is Mike Covert. Glad to have you here. I'm your host and producer. We're coming to you live from the Big Patriot Radio studios here in the great state of South Carolina. Once again, glad to have you with us on Facebook, YouTube, and those of you listening all over the area and up to and around the world on BigPatriotRadio.com. I want to thank you to those that have been with us since day one and those who are here for the first time. A lot of people already chiming in. I see the little meter, the little clicker going up as people are tuning in. So glad to have you there with us. Also, those folks who want to watch this on demand, whether it be on Facebook or on YouTube, we appreciate you doing that. Just go to either of those channels and look for Beaufort County's House of Cards or my name, and you should get right to the show. For those of you that are with us on Facebook and YouTube, go in and go to your chat room and let us know what state you were born in. It's always good to see where everybody's at, where they're coming from, where they've been, things like that. It always helps the algorithms in both Facebook and YouTube to give us a little bit of credence. Tonight's show has been brought to you by the folks at skipsthefuskytees.us. skipsthefuskytees.us. They are all over BigPatriotRadio.com. You hear them usually every hour or every other hour. So go check them out at skipsthefuskytees.us. They have an incredible selection of shirts, T-shirts with themes of Americana, military, Trump, GOP, taking shots at Iran, mini shirts with, the cabinet. Matter of fact, I did remember to bring this around to the studio. Here's one of their shirts, and I think I got the camera turned right. This is the Golden Dome T-shirt. There you see Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War. These quality shirts. These are made in America. Gildan branded. This is white tee. These are like $25. That's it. This doesn't peel off. This is quality stuff. Go check them out at skipsthefuskytees.us. Let them know that you heard about them on BigPatriotRadio.com as well as Beaufort County's House of Cards. And like I said, they're made right here on Defusky Island in Beaufort County, South Carolina. Only $25. I think the one I got for myself was $28 just because it got a little room around the middle. But anyway, here is a brief message from skipsthefuskytees.us.
Skips the Fusky Tees is giving you a reason to laugh and a reason to travel. Every shirt you buy is a ticket in the Trump Trip giveaway where you could win a luxury stay in New York City, Vegas, or Miami. We're talking penthouse suite, spa days, casino chips, and flights for 2. And all you had to do was buy a t-shirt. Go to skipsthefuskytees.us and grab yours now. The shirts are funny. The prize, it's serious.
All right, we got a couple of big stories tonight. And again, I want to thank those folks at skipsthefuskytees.us. We really appreciate them being on board with us. Anyway, got a couple of big stories tonight. I want to get right into the recent Beaufort County School Board meeting. What's on tonight's agenda, Leon? Well, Leon, we've got a lot of stuff. Thanks for tuning in. The title of tonight's show is Putting Foot into Mouth Does Have Its Repercussions. So we're going to talk about that and some other things. I'm going to get the whole show, but let's jump right into a recent Beaufort County School Board meeting. Matter of fact, recent as of like 48 hours ago, just Tuesday night. What happened at the end of the meeting is the actually shocking part of the entire thing. Now, most people realize that if you've been listening to this at any time, I hold the school board, the county council, then town councils, and all that to a very high standard. And for the most part, those on the school board, I have, they understand. People understand that I think, Elizabeth Hay, Richard Ney, Ingrid Boatwright, anyway, I think those are the most conservative, if we're looking at conservative, people on the school board, if not the only. The rest of them, they're not. Some may say they are, but they're not. Anyway, Carlton Dallas, even though in his own right, Carlton Dallas, at least so he says, and on paper, and from what I know of him, he seems like he's quite the intelligent person. What you're going to see, I'm going to show you a video here in just a minute. He's starting in this video. You're going to see where Mr. Dallas is. I guess how can I put this? Body language says a lot. Okay. He seems to be less than amused with the fellow school board members or trustees, whatever you want to call them. Quite frankly, this whole thing is embarrassing, what you're going to see. This group was embarrassing before Tuesday night. They were embarrassing before Dick Geyer took over his chair, and even more so with him at the helm. So let me set the stage what's going on. And again, as others have been chiming in where they're from, appreciate you. Let us know where you are from. Where were you born? What brought you around? Where did you come from to be able to get here and watch this show? Any questions you have, any comments you want to make, always put them in your chat, and we'll get to them as the show goes on. So at the end of the meeting Tuesday night, the last two citizens went to the mic to do public comments. The last citizen, it's out there. I'm not going to mention his name. I didn't ask him for it, but anyway, he went to the microphone, give his 3 minutes or whatever it is of public comment. At the end of his comments, he was making reference to something that we have said here months and months, and I guess more than a year ago. Or right at a year, I guess, and now it is. We've said this on the House of Cards for a long time, and that is, he was talking about this. Why are minority students in Beaufort County doing worse than the state minimum averages? If you remember, several months ago, I put up statistics from the Department of Education about Black, Brown, Hispanic, minority students doing worse in several categories than state minimum averages. And remember, this is Beaufort County, all right? One of the most expensive places to live in this state, one of the fastest growing, or next door to the fastest growing. People for decades have moved here either because of the beaches or because of the schools. Another question, why are so many minority students graduating that are known as unemployable? That one, as a business owner, bothered me the most. Why are there people coming out of high school that are being labeled, according to the state statistics, as unemployable? That is not sustaining. That is not sustainable. That's quite dangerous. These statistics, again, are DOE, Department of Education statistics from the South Carolina State Department of Education. These stats didn't come from our school board. Anyway, this gentleman, talking at the very end of the meeting, this gentleman mentioned these statistics and how abominable it is and what a realistic black eye it is on the school district and the school board. He made reference to, quote unquote, so-called rulings, end quote, that Dick Geyer, the chairman, has made since having the gavel in not recording public comments and things of those nature. So this gentleman goes and he sits down. Chairman Geyer is ready to gavel out the meeting when he asked for any objections, and school board member Will Smith raised his hand, normal, and said he would, when asked why, Member Smith, Trustee Smith, said he would like to have that gentleman and the previous gentleman's words shown in the minutes. Now, school board member Smith, I forget his exact terminology. I think he used the word encompass. What he means by that is that he wanted their words, quote unquote, in legislative terms, being shown in the journal. That's how we word this procedure. Now, immediately, school board secretary, I believe it is, Ingrid Boatwright, ripped into Will Smith, telling him, quote, "We do not respond to public speeches. You said you wanted to respond," end quote. Now, Smith very quickly said, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And in fact, no, he didn't." He said, and he told her this, he wanted to have their comments, and again, in his words, encompassed, meaning added to the notes or the minutes. Now, Dick Geyer, the chairman, advised him, "We don't do that, but if you want to make a motion," so Smith did. Will Smith made the motion to have these words added to the journal. Now, it didn't have a second. No one seconded it, either there or online. Those are online. So it died. The motion died. Now, before we go further, I want to explain to you something that's critical to this. It's minutia, but it is legislative minutia and is very important. Quite frankly, school board member Will Smith made a very timely motion and comment. So public comment is not spelled out in the minutes of the meetings. If you go to X meeting and get the agenda, and in the agenda will be the previous meeting's minutes, and you can read through there. 99 times out of 100, the minutes carry the highlights. When it comes to public comment, John Doe spoke in favor of the school lunch reduction fee. Jane Doe of Anderson spoke of the need for more school bus drivers, whatever. They do not get into every single word that you say. Now, and a lot of people, I spoke to a handful that were like, why my stuff's never been added? Well, it's not supposed to be, because that's not how they do it. And it's not just Beaufort County, it's all of them. Public comments are not added to the minutes word for word. It's common practice, known as something that, or known under the category of usual and customary, for any legislator types to call for, quote, a motion to have the words of so-and-so added to the journal, end quote. Again, usual and customary. What that means is if the objection had been non-found, or it was second and voted on and approved, then those gentlemen's speeches would have been dictated into the minutes and into the journal of the meeting, word for word. It is again, common in legislative action. It gives a little more importance to what was just said. So again, I spoke with someone, one of the folks that I spoke to yesterday, who is quite learned with public speaking and the processes. Yet even she was not aware of this. Some could call it, quote unquote, a hidden tactic of not recording every word of a public speaker and requesting those words to be added. So, and that is what it is. That is a hidden tactic. So, Will Smith, great idea, very poignant, very timely, to ask for these words to be added. Now, one may say, well, why did he want to do that? A, why did he want to do it? And how did he even know to do that? Well, B, I can't answer that last one for you, but I can say this. Under the leadership or the rudderless leadership of Dick Geyer, Geyer himself decided that all public comments would not be a part of any record. In his own words, he said, the public comments are on the video and that's period. Dick Geyer was very explicit in his change. The last speaker even made reference to, you, Mr. Chairman, had made these changes, et cetera, et cetera. So what happened next is what should concern you as a citizen and as a voter. We're going to play the video of the end of the meeting. And again, this is from Tuesday night at the Beaufort County School Board. So let's go to that now. Now, as you're looking at this screen, what you see here, I think you may see my little pointer. But anyway, over here on the left, into the table, yeah, you do see my little pointer. Anyway, this is Dr. Frank Rodriguez. He is the superintendent of schools. Empty space, empty space. There's Mr. Will Smith. He represents Ladies Island. There is Victor Ney. I believe he is District 5, which is like from Burton to Kalawasi to Riverbend. Ingrid Boatwright, which is District 10. Or no, she's District 11, which is like Sea Pines down that way. Here we have Dick Geyer, chairman. He represents Shell Point and Beaufort. Here on the end with his hands under his chin, remember I was talking about this at the beginning of the show, there is Dallas, or Carlton Dallas, with the black vest and the maroon shirt on. He looks bored as shit, out of tune with what's going on, which is interesting. Anyway, he's there, empty space. This guy with his back to us, that is Mr. David, oh my gosh. Oh, I can't believe I forgot his name. He's new. His name is Carr. That's right, David Carr. So then you have a space. Then you have Mrs. Elizabeth Hay. David Carr represents District 7, which is like the Hampton Hall, Buckwalter area. Elizabeth Hay, she represents District 10. Which is the northern part, mid to northern part of Hilton Head Island. Who's missing? You've got Isaac Gordon from District 1. He represents like the Dale up that way. Who else do we have here? We are missing Chloe Gordon. She's District 2, which is Beaufort, up over Ladies Island, and then like up to the air station. Alfonso Smalls represents District 6, the Pritchardville and Bluffton areas. I believe that's all. Anyway, that's who the players are. I want you to pay attention and listen in as we go forward.
That's what you want. It's simple.
I'm appealing the rule of the chair to have both of their comments to be noted as we used to have in under our board notes, however you want to put it.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second online? I hear no second. The motion fails. And without further discussion or objection, we will adjourn by unanimous consent.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So,
Take this and shove it right up his ass.
Oh, that's right. You heard that right. You heard that right. What you heard was, that was Dick Geyer when the camera went off. That was Dick Geyer who said, something to the effect of, I'd like to take this and shove it up his ass. Now, I want to put some things in context here. Let's look at the entire board as it sits right now. Before I do that, if I have explained something that you see differently, put it in the chat now. Let's talk about it. Otherwise, you heard directly from Chairman Dick Geyer's mouth himself, quote, "I'd like to shove this up his ass," end quote. Now, that was Chairman Dick Geyer. We assume, allegedly, and we believe to him referring to Trustee William Smith. Now, it's been 48 hours-ish. If Dick Geyer was referring to something else, maybe he was looking at the people who catered the event and the hot dogs were cold and he was going to shove that up their ass. He probably, and Dick, if you're watching, you probably should have come out by now. And told people, I wasn't talking about Will Smith. I was talking about the people who brought the hot dogs. But Dick Geyer has not come out and said, "Oh, no, that wasn't us." And funny, either the school board or the PIO, someone that can control things, went onto YouTube of that meeting and has scrubbed. If you look for that right now, you'll find it scrubbed. In other words, "I'd like to shove it up his ass" has been taken off. Why did you do that? Whoever you are. Anyway, this is characteristically, whether it was for Will Smith or for the janitor or for the guy who provided the pickles and relish, it's characteristically unprofessional and demeaning, not only by a school board member, but because Dick Geyer is the chairman, even more so. Years ago, I skirted the line when I told Stu Rodman, chairman of the county council, that he sucked as a chairman. That was skirting the line, but I did hold it onto the right side. This, "I'd like to shove it up his ass," as quoted to by Dick Geyer, that is crossing the line of unprofessionalism and very demeaning. Chairman Geyer is supposed to be the leader of this pack. And that along with him, but being a retired military officer, colonel, I believe, and I appreciate your service, sir, but you are an abstract failure of a leader. You are an abstract failure of a leader with this comment, unprofessional and demeaning. I came out yesterday when this was released. Yeah, today's Wednesday. Very, very early, and I'm restating it right now. Dick Geyer, and we got multiples of tens in the Port Royal, Beaufort, Mossy Oaks area watching. I don't know if one of them is him or not because the names aren't that. But anyway, Dick Geyer, somebody get this to him. You need to resign. Dick Geyer, you need to resign. This is, to say it is unacceptable behavior is putting it, sorry about that, Will. Hold up now. It's beyond unprofessional. Let's take a listen to that one more time, because I know you may be saying, this can't be. So I want you to be able to hear this again. The end of the school board meeting. And let's hear again for your own ears what this man over here, Dick Geyer, while Carlton Dallas is off in La La Land, Let's hear what was said.
But that's what you want. It's simple.
The rule of
I'm
the
a,
chair.
I'm appealing the rule of the chair
Okay.
to have both of their comments to be noted as we used to have in under our board our board notes, however you want to put it.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second online? I hear no second, the motion fails. And without further discussion or objection, we will adjourn by unanimous consent.
So
Take this and shove it right up his ass.
And there you have it. Take this and shove it right up his ass, he says. Wow. At tie, we have to share spot. Yes, so this goes viral. Absolutely, I agree. Janet, hey, how are you? He does not deserve being on a school board, and he needs to go. Couldn't have said it better myself. Julianne, also thank you very much. My good friend, the mayor of All Joy, Carolyn Kraft Smith, bad remark no matter what it was for. Absolutely. It's a horrible remark, unbecoming, demeaning, and unprofessional. Dick Geyer, you need to resign, and you need to resign right now. Right now. We have a couple other comments. Cammie says she's a parent of a child in the school district. It's concerning. All of our schools have bullying issues. This is how our chairman speaks. It's sickening. No wonder this community so lost their buffoons we have in control. Cammie, I agree with you. Julianne says Dick is full of many derogatory remarks. He has a superiority complex. Yes, he does. Dick is also the one who said last year, Julianne, I don't know if it was either last year or the year before. I think we were at the meeting. As a matter of fact, I am the government, he said. As we used to have. Why did this guy change that, Janet? Well, that's a question that Dick is going to have to answer to. But if you look at the leadership of the school board and actually county council, they talk the game of transparency while they are behind the door sticking their middle finger up at you, because that is the last thing that they want. They can say they want it, but the proof is in the pudding, and that pudding keeps tasting like a turd from both of those bodies' leadership every single time it's served. So anyway, I want to put a couple things in context. Let's look at the whole board. Chairman Dick Geyer, aside from this egregious, overwhelming act of incompetency and piss poor leadership, and quite frankly, lack of control, remember, colonels in the military, since he is a colonel, should have precise control, not a lack of control. Anyway, something seems off. Now, this is just my opinion. Don't take it for anything other than my opinion. If you agree, great. That's right, Julianne. He did say that. I had forgotten about that, but Dick Geyer said during the whole book thing 2-3 years ago, as it's been now, if parents didn't like the books in the library, the pornographic books that so many of us had been fighting to get rid of, and Ivy, Julian, you may be doing it as well still. I don't know, but I know Ivy is still fighting at the state level. Anyway, he said, if you don't like the books in the library, then parents, you can homeschool your kids or put them in private school. The vice chair at that time of the school board advised you to put your kids in homeschool or private school. That in and of itself is disqualifying as any kind of leader. But be that as it may, I digress. Something seems off with old Dick. Almost like Dick is not as strong as he once was, or thought that he was. Now, Dick has some age on him. He almost seems out of touch, maybe a tad tired. Not in the room anymore. If you watch the meetings, go to the meetings, Dick's not there. Something seems off. Then we have Will Smith, who was completely accosted verbally. Now, Will is not, and I think Will may be watching, Will's not immune to controversy. I give Will Smith major props. I have for years, major props for advocating for his people, his constituents. No doubt, no question. Will believes in his people. However, Will is 10 steps behind when it comes to legislation, decorum, rules, laws, legislative processes, things like that. Over his tenure, and he's been there a couple terms, Will Smith has been accused of things by other board members, by some members of the district office, by teachers, I think. There was lawsuits multiple times. You know, one time of anything can be bullshit. 2 times it gets to be a rumor. 3 times or more, some morsel of truth becomes evident in it all. During his tenure, Smith has never been chair of any committees. Never. And I know he's been there 2 terms. I would imagine that he's working on his 3rd. I think. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm giving him props that he's been there for 2 terms. Never been a chair of a committee. That should tell you something. You've got Vice Chair Carlton Dallas. Again, Dallas has a background that's credible. He says he was in international finance or international business or something like that. He could be a benefit, but here's the problem with Carlton Dallas, because he's an opportunist. He is also the Merriam-Webster dictionary answer to the word globalist. And he probably would accept that as a compliment, I would imagine. I've known him a long time, 20 plus years I've known him. And again, like I said, he will admit that in as much, and that's a danger, unfortunately, to the school district to be a globalist. I call globalists sellouts to whims of New World Order types. And if you look at his history, when it comes to the word New World Order, years and years and years and years ago, for a long time, the World Economic Forum held a conference on Hilton Head every year, every summer, I believe it was, or fall. Carlton Dallas was that type of person. A while back, Dallas penned some new legislative initiatives, and I think I may have even read them on this show once or twice. Apparently, he presented them, or somebody presented them to the county's state delegation, to the General Assembly. Now, these legislative papers, white papers that he authored, were over the top and completely out of character for not only Beaufort County, but also for the generalities of South Carolina. Now, I spoke to some in our county's delegation at the General Assembly, and we talked about these, and they were shot down and thrown into File 13. I'm being nice. People who read these, they were not only in awe and asking things like, why did this even come about? Well, Carlton Dallas is the chair of the legislative committee, or whatever the hell they call him. Who the hell is this guy? One of them said. Where does he come off writing this garbage? Another one told me. This is where he's dangerous and does not represent the majority of this county's citizens' beliefs. I think if he lived in Richland County, Columbia, or in the city of Greenville, or maybe the city of Charleston's big time, maybe some of those would get flown by, but not here. All right, Trustee Chloe Gordon, school board member Chloe Gordon. I never really figured out how they called trustees everywhere or just some places. Anyway, Chloe Gordon has a documented, she's in District 2. She's got a documented background in education. No question there. But like Geyer, something seems amiss. She's been on there for, I don't know, it's only been a couple, 2, 3, 4 years, something like that. Something, in my estimation, something seems amiss. She's, in my opinion, turned into the queen of the Zoom meetings. I mean, she reps the area of District 2, which is like Beaufort, Ladies Island, up to the air station, right into there. She's the closest to the friggin' district building than anybody, but she doesn't show up. Now, I don't remember. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't remember the last time she offered anything of substance, matter of fact, anything at all, to the conversation in the school board. That's Chloe Gordon, board secretary Ingrid Boatwright. She's kind of my chameleon because when she came on the school board, several years ago, I was like 100% liking what I saw, what I heard, everything. I was like, you know what? We got a good one here. She's a good conservative, etc. Then, in my estimation, she became a junior to former chair Guads and then to Geyer. And she, in my opinions, her comments, her attitudes, her conversations, she became uber liberal. Now, after watching some things, talking to some people, seeing where her head's at, it seems like she's turning back into a conservative voice again. Maybe she's gotten a little experience, gotten a little older, a little wiser, gotten to that conservative voice again, which is counter to Geyer, Dallas, Smith, and the other liberals. Somebody say, well, wait a minute, Dick Geyer goes to all the GOP meetings. I don't care. I don't care what meetings Dick Geyer goes to. He's as close to a conservative as Jim Clyburn is. Fact's a fact. Well, they're in a nonpartisan. I don't care. I don't care at all. Probably the school board should be partisan, which maybe the county council shouldn't be because everything they do has to deal with socialized programs anyway. Education is not on a local level. Anyway, so I'm back in Ingrid Boatwright's corner again. She's well-spoken, could be a proven leader, in my opinion. The board has 2 fantastic members, again, in Elizabeth Hay and Victor Ney. Solid conservative values. I totally support them, have been in their camp since day one. They've never disappointed. They're solid. There's a quad of newbies. Isaac Gordon, who is a bus driver, and I think he's also a pastor. Lee Frazier, Gordon is District 1 up in the Dale Seabrook area. Lee Frazier, District 9 over here in Bluffton. She is as far as I know, a manager of a food store and restaurant. Alfonso Smalls, I think he's a truck driver. He is in District 6. David Carr, I don't know what the hell David Carr is, but I know he's married to uber liberal Sarah McCarty, who ran for county council District 7 against Logan Cunningham. So I don't know what but he doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything. These 4, in my opinion, have added 0 substance. 0. Yes, they're new, but no, that is not an excuse. You can't use that as an excuse. Well, I'm new. I've been here a year. No, but bullshit. That's not it. We didn't elect you to the job and say you got a year to grow. You got a year to grow. Don't worry about anything. No. You vote on day 1. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Long time no talk. So anyway, I worry about Chloe Gordon, Isaac Gordon, Smith, and Geyer. Something is wrong there. Something is wrong. When you take that entire bunch, something is wrong there. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm telling you, something is wrong. Something is wrong. If you're an employee of the school district, whistleblower, your confidence is good with mine. I talk to people almost every day and don't tell people here where I got it from. Your secret's safe with me. Is there something wrong with Dick Geyer, Will Smith, or Chloe Gordon, or Isaac, or any of them? Is there something wrong? Because, it's like they say about your gut. If your gut probably isn't going to lead you astray. And my gut's been a winner when it comes about people. And there's a problem. I can't put my finger on it totally, but there's a problem, and we got to figure it out. So what about leadership? As it's 7:45 here on Big Patriot Radio, Beaufort County's House of Cards. Give us your chat. Go into chat and tell us what your feelings are. I can tell you that Dick Geyer is on his way out. He's, on the downward slope, if you will, of his career. I mean, that's not a dig. That just is what it is. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but the deer in the headlights look is getting bigger. When you look at him, he's looking through you. It's not looking at you, but it goes right on through. Just right on these eyes right here and right on through. Is it age? I don't know what his age is. I would assume he's in his 70s, I guess. I mean, does he not hear what the hell's going on? Is he not seeing what's going on? Is he not comprehending what's going on? I mean, has he decided to make a turn and go down the Joe Biden gaffe trail? I'm asking because it's looking like it. I think in January they elect a new chairman, and I would almost bet money, and I don't bet, but I almost would that he will not be the next chairman when that vote happens. Unless he gets pushed hard enough or maybe drinks, a V8 and decides, I'm going to do it again. But I don't see him doing it. I would imagine that some, yeah, that's right. I don't think Dick Geyer will be the next school board chairman. That's exactly right. I would imagine some will expect the vice chair, Carlton Dallas, to move into that role. And that would not only be horrible, but would turn Beaufort County School Board into an ass-kissing, socialist-run New World Order of school districts. Scores would plummet for the sake of everyone gets a trophy type of thing. That is what he would bring to the show. Everybody gets a trophy for participation, and watch the scores take a complete dump. Boatwright, however, is at the table, but I don't know if I see her gaining enough votes from the majority. Right now, the majority, I think I counted as 6-5, I believe. I don't know if she's got enough votes, but she could have. Janet asks, how do these incompetent people get elected to our school board? The students of Beaufort County deserve better. They absolutely do deserve better. They deserve the best. And what's bad with this, Janet, is that, if leadership continues like Dick Geyer on the school board or Alice Howard on county council, good people, aren't going to run for those offices because they don't want to be associated with nimcompoops, dimwits that are operating like this. There are some places you don't want to be associated with. And then there are some people who will try to fix anything, and I'm talking about myself, trying to fix anything with no matter who's there and see if they can turn it around. What's the qualifications? We'll talk about that at another show coming up, the qualifications and lack thereof. So anyway, Boatwright, I'm not sure if she can get the votes, but if some strategizing is done, I think she very well possibly could. That leaves the board in a conundrum. Okay. That leaves Beaufort County schools and parents and students in a real pickle, as we used to say. Who to lead? So I have an idea. Let's say screw it and throw caution to the wind. William Smith for school board chair. What do you say about that? William Smith for school board chair. Think about it. The entertainment value would be off the charts. Meetings would be at least a day long. It would allow every school board member free will to go into every school at any whim and go through the offices, teachers' drawers, the desk drawers, and be their own investigators. Yes, you probably lose Superintendent Rodriguez the day after the swearing in, but hey, what else have you got to lose, right? Yes, probably no one would ever run for school board again. Yes, Beaufort County would be the complete laughingstock of South Carolina, but hey, let's give Jasper County, Allendale County, and Marlborough County a break, all right? All right? Let's give them a break. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But what about Boatwright? Install her as chairwoman of the school board, strategize for a vice chair, and I don't buy into the whole one on the north side and one on the south side. I don't buy into all that bullshit. Install her as chairwoman, find a good, hardworking vice chair, and give Will Smith, there's an idea, chairmanship of a committee. He's never had one yet. It could be a liaison to county council, chair of the legislative committee. I don't think I would go down instruction. I wouldn't go down safety, none of those. But I mean, think about it. Some of you, I know for a fact, you guys are probably getting ready to type. Put it on words. Covert, you have lost your ever-loving freaking mind. Will Smith, the chair of the legislative committee? Wait a minute. Hold your pants. Hold your coffee. Take a sip. The tea is still cold. Think about that for a minute. Think about that for a while. Think about the parameters of such a thing. Think about the details of that. Get back to me when you figure out what I'm talking about. So anyway, our school board is in bad shape. A very, very bad shape. Right now, nonsense is the rule on Beaufort County School Board instead of common sense. Juliet. Nay. Yeah, there you go. Just think about it. Think about my head. Where am I coming from? Why am I saying all that? You'll figure it out. Anyway, the liberal left has had it their way for a while. Geyer, again, in no way, shape, or form is a conservative. I don't care what he says, who he buys memberships in what party. I do not care. It does not matter because votes and what comes out of your mouth, actions matter. He is no conservative. Gwads, she was only a half conservative. Campbell, another school board chair, definitely no way. He didn't even pretend to be a conservative. So anyway, maybe it's time for a real conservative to take the wheel of the school board. Yes, I know it's a nonpartisan seat. I get it. You still have what you believe in, what your convictions are. Maybe it's time for a conservative to take the wheel. Maybe Boatwright, maybe Elizabeth Hay, maybe Victor Ney. Maybe one of them can right this horrible, horrible mistake gotten even worse over the last 2 years. I don't know. This is not going to be the last time we talk about this. I can almost guarantee you that.
Fusky Tees is giving you a reason to laugh and a reason to travel. Every shirt you buy is a ticket in the Trump Trip giveaway where you could win a luxury stay in New York City, Vegas, or Miami. We're talking penthouse suites, spa days, casino chips, and flights for two. And all you had to do was buy a t-shirt. Go to skipstofuskytees.us and grab yours now. The shirts are funny. The prize, it's serious.
You know, I got to do it one more time. I'm still just in shock when I even listen to this 53 seconds. I have to share it. We got to play it again.
That's what you want. It's simple. I'm appealing the rule of the chair to have both of their comments to be noted as we used to have in under our board our board notes, however you want to put it.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second online? I hear no second. The motion fails. And without further discussion or objection, we will adjourn by unanimous consent.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So
Take this and shove it right up his ass.
There you go. And again, just so everybody's clear here, I am not. I'm not saying that Will's, completely. What's the word I'm looking for? Innocent, because he's got a lot of skeletons there. But when it comes to this right here, oh, Dicky Poo, bad move. Anyway, it is 5 minutes before the top of the hour. How are all the rhinos doing? They've been gone a long time. That's right. Somebody told me, Helga, that you were in was it Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan or something totally cool. Want to hear about that. And our rhinos are still doing what they've always done. All right. Election day was day before yesterday. I want to get through this real quick, and then we have another story fighting. Actually, we have two more from Beaufort County. One is hot off the presses. One has to do with the county council. One has to do with the school board. And we'll get to those. One of them is dangerously important. Anyway, election day was day before yesterday. Same day as Dick Geyer's little tirade there about shoving something up somebody's ass. The East, or the country, was fixated mainly on three races. They're here on the East Coast: the governorship of New Jersey, the governor of the state of Virginia, and the mayor in New York City. There were lots of races around South Carolina. Only one here locally that was actually a race, and that was in the town of Port Royal. The council there, Mary Beth Hayward and Darrell Owens, both incumbents. Both are going back to town council, retaining their seats. Angie Tillman, newcomer, she gained 12% of the vote. So kudos to her. Town of Bluffton, unopposed, Fred Hamilton and Emily Vox Burden going to go back to town council there. Everything that I have read indicates that voter turnout was expected to be poor, and by all accounts, I'm talking about here locally, by all accounts, it was very poor. In the widely talked about New York City mayoral race, Democrat Socialist Zohran Mamdani beat out former New York Governor Cuomo and Republican Curtis Sliwa. This race was slated to be tight, but it was an outright ass-kicking. What does this tell us? Well, some talking mouths have said this means that young Americans want socialism, blah, 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 blah. And there may be something to that. Maybe. And, if that is true, then that is a failure of adults, teachers, professors, parents, etc., in not fully explaining the detriments of socialism and why it has never worked in any setting and never will. However, I put this out to you. Just think about this. Is it possible that the people of New York City, take out those useful idiots who, bona fide idiots who think socialism is the golden egg, that maybe take those people out? All right, just every day, you've seen them on YouTube or the TV, just New Yorkers who are tired they want to change. Maybe they're so disenfranchised, maybe, in the current system that they're seeking a way out or a way up. I spoke to someone recently who owns a brownstone in New York City. They have a car. Most people don't, but they have a car, and they have to rent a parking spot inside a multi-level garage that they can't go get. The car gets brought to them. The cost for that is over $11,350 a month for a place to park your freaking car per month. This particular brownstone, they have 3 bedrooms. They rent out 2 of them, $5,100 a month for each bedroom and house privileges. So does it make you wonder, that they're probably, these people, New York Cityites, are probably hard-pressed to make it in the Big Apple? I mean, yeah, obviously there's a few that do, but there's a whole lot that don't. I remember my wife and I went there to take our youngest daughter to look at a college in New York City. And breakfast, normal breakfast for the 3 of us, normal, I'm talking like, 2 eggs, they didn't have grits, but 2 eggs, toast and whatever, sausage. For the 3 of us, it was $100. It was $100. Now, if these people are just wanting something better, something to make it easier to breathe, ask yourselves this. Is that really not the same thing that Donald Trump was offering to the masses when he began? Something different. Mondami's just using a different medium or a different conduit. Trump used conservative values, conservative measures. Totally on board. Mondami, could he be using the same cry? People want the same thing, but he's using a different medium, a different conduit. If that's what he did, then, and I think Mondami is as batshit crazy as a bag of hammers. But if that's true, he did a hell of a marketing job. So personally, I think New York City is going to take a big hit with this. I really do. But hey, it's time to see what he does. I hope New York City and the folks there, hold him accountable. And for goodness sakes, people, teach your kids, my gosh, teach your children, your grandkids, why socialism does not work. My good friend Nancy York here in Bluffton was from, she was born in Venezuela. She's an American citizen. She understands. She saw when Venezuela was that was a millionaire's playhouse. Socialism took over, and it is a epitome of a shitbox. Teach your kids why socialism does not work and has never worked. New York City is going to become the laughing stock around the world, especially those folks who live under socialism, seeing that America's the world's largest city, the free world, moving towards socialism. People got to be laughing their ass off going, what the hell are these people doing? Anyway, the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth, elected a new governor. Abigail Spanberger beat out Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. Spanberger, white Democrat. Earl Sears, black Republican. Spanberger, former CIA drug agent. Winsome Earl Sears, decorated retired Marine. Interesting story about this. The NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, got involved in this race. They backed the white lady. That's true. It's absolutely true. The NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, got involved and backed the white lady. They didn't back the black gal. They backed the rich white Democrat. So every time you've heard the NAACP come out and give you that line of baloney that they are nonpartisan and it's all about the movement, that is total bullshit. Now you can call them out with the proof. They just proved that all we were saying, that the NAACP is nothing but a bunch of baloney. Total waste of time and money. Funny, maybe not funny. The NAACP is supporting the party of the plantation. The party of slavery. Democrats. Oh my God, what are you talking about? Well, that's true. Look it up. Is that not the most asinine, dumbest, most ridiculous thing that you've ever heard? A black organization, and hey, let's quote their website, okay? Directly from the horse's mouth. The NAACP website says they're focused on fighting, quote, fighting racial injustice by building Black political, social, and economic power, focused on working to turn the Black community's priority into public policy through the legislative process. They flipped the script and supported the rich white liberal Democrat. That in and of itself is hypocrisy in the biggest degree, slammed on its face. I've said it before, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll keep saying it. In 2025, why do we even have an NAACP or the United Negro College Fund? People in America don't want the racial divide. Republicans, conservatives don't want a class system based on color. Evidently, that's what the Democrats do want. Evidently, that is what's important. Class system based on color. I disagree with that. We, Republicans, conservatives, don't see the color divide, the color differences. We've had a Black president. I have Black friends. I might consider myself Black. I don't know, you don't know. The point of all that is it doesn't make a difference. So why have an NAACP? Why have the United Negro College Fund? This is straight from liberal Democrat talking points, and every real conservative feels the same way. Yet, the liberal Democrat left, they talk with the forked tongue, doing different than what they say, and again, and again, and again, over and over, the Black and brown population, largely, not all, have fallen for it. That's right. And I've said this as well, if I were a man of color, the last thing I would want to be near is a Democrat. You want to talk about bringing up old wounds? It's the Democrats. You want to talk about a completely unjust system based on division? It's the Democrats. But for some reason, somehow, some people drill it into their heads. Oh, you're Black, you got to be a Democrat. You're Hispanic, oh, you got to be a Democrat. That is ridiculous. Anyway, so back to Virginia. Where was I? Back to Virginia. Virginia now was the first state to have a Black governor in the United States. Doug Wilder, back in 1990, the first. They could have had the first Black female governor in the United States as well. Now, for those of us that are born and bred Virginians, that would be a remarkable thing to have had happen. To say as a Virginian, born and bred, we had the first Black governor and we had the first Black female governor. And it's a state from the South. That would be something to celebrate. As I said for New York City, the same goes for Virginia. Abigail Spanberger and her newly elected lieutenant governor, an Indian immigrant to the U.S. who was a member of the Virginia Senate, largely staying course of mediocre liberal points, averting from radical lines, even though she's a Indian Muslim, now will be questioned by everything they do say and support, and they should be. Virginians could be a tinderbox ready for an explosion if those two get out of control. So yes, Virginia is controlled by Northern Virginia and by the Tidewater. Almost the rest of Virginia, except for Richmond, is conservative. Unbelievable. All right. Our final comment, our friends over at the Beaufort Insider ran a story today. Actually, not our final comment, next to the final comment. The Beaufort Insider ran a story today, so I want to give them credit for it. That's BeaufortInsider.com, I believe is their address. The story was about Beaufort County adding $24.8 million, almost $25 million carryover onto the fiscal year 26 budget. Now, maybe that doesn't seem like a big deal, but let's talk about carryover. What is carryover? All right, well, let's take your budget and mine in our homes. well, I didn't get to all these bills, so we're just going to put them in the next year. We're going to put them on the ledger sheet for next year. That's kind of what this is. Now, last year they carried over $4.5 million. This year they're carrying over 5 times, more than 5 times that amount. Even liberal York Glover, county councilman, questioned the finance department back in August of 2025 as to why such a large amount. Now, Glover did not receive a total answer to the question. And of course, he's not going to ask either A, he doesn't know to ask deeper questions, or B, doesn't know to ask deeper questions, or C, just goes along with what he's told. Anyway, that raised the flags of non-transparency to another level in the Michael Moore administration. It was compounded when former chair Joe Passaman immediately spoke up and claimed this was due to policy changes as they altered the way general funds, special revenue funds, and capital projects funds are accounted for. Now, I don't know about you, but something smells fishy here to me. And it does to all of us here at Big Patriot Radio. Beaufort Insider asked the county, why this carryover of almost $25 million has to happen at all. Why was it not presented at the same time the fiscal year 26 budget itself was presented? Great question, Beaufort Insider. And that's usual and customary and commonplace. Well, Beaufort County officials said time constraints made it impossible. Though they did acknowledge that simultaneous presentation would have been ideal. That's the famous, sorry, can I have another? Smack me. Can I have another, please? Thank you. Can I have another? Nobody says anything. They're either ignorant and don't know to ask, or they're ignorant and don't know to ask, or they just go along because they don't know to ask. Anyway, county administration went back on their heels, claiming how transparent they were because they mentioned it during a county council finance committee, but there was no public comment taken or allowed during that meeting or the 2 subsequent county council readings, which both passed unanimously. Shocking. Kind of timely, though, isn't it? Now, back in August, County Administrator Michael Moore pointed out that this whole thing was because the CFO was doing her job following proper accounting methods and procedures, end quote. According to the Insider's article, Beaufort Insider, I agree 100% with that assessment. And my comments would be, well, and I think they even asked this, what was going on before? CFOs knew. What was going on before, and was that improper? Because you've never told us that it was. Michael Moore stepped up and through claims that the new CFO, Pinky Harriet, believes it is more efficient to carry forward all open purchase orders rather than reissue them. As that article states, fine, that addresses the process, but not the carryover itself. You're only giving them a bit of the information. Again, why did anybody not ask? Because they're either ignorant and don't know to ask, or they're ignorant and don't know to ask, or they're just going ahead with what they're told. The county now is claiming we are so transparent. How transparent are we? We have a new transparency playbook website, and it's not new. But they still do not and will not answer the why. We understand the process now. I hear what you're saying. Pinky Harriet has a way of doing things. The one before had their way of doing things. I get it as long as it's generally acceptable accounting methods, GAAP. As long as it's acceptable, I understand. A process is a process. But I want to know why. Why did this process change at Harriet's helm lead to $25 million freaking dollars in carryover? That is an impact. That's a huge impact. And taxpayers want and deserve to hear an answer. Why? Not the process, But why? We don't want to see Harriet stare into the screen, or Michael Moore fumble with word salad, or Robinson or the other bootlickers shrug it off as, well, it's just policy. Thank you, you can have another. We want to know why. When is someone on county council going to say, stop? We understand the process now, but we want to know why, because they never answered the why. I agree 110% with the Buford Insider and have the same questions now that I had back in August. There are multiple county council members that have been in and out of this show tonight, and I'm sure, as always, more will later. So, Chairwoman Alice Howard, Vice Chair Anna Tabernick, Finance Chair Mark Lawson, who, by the way, is still absent in his entire role and is quickly becoming persona non grata in his district. The questions, number one, why was the year's budget carryover more than 5 times last year? And 2, what changed in county operations or gap procedures that caused this? Not the process, the why. The answers that the administration gave to the Buford Insider are nothing more than duck and cover and do not answer any transparency issues. Don't forget, County Council, the citizens of this county are still not trusting you. They haven't forgotten 2018's transportation tax still is not completed. We're working on it. It's still not completed. It's the end of 2025. The citizens, hey, look, here it is. Here it is. Alice, Tab, the rest of you, the citizens deserve to hear from the elected officials. They don't want to hear from Moore anymore. They don't want to hear from some $15 an hour PIO or whatever, or TV, county channel TV personality. The citizens want to hear from you, the people they elected to watch over them, to watch the money. Why did this happen? Why is it $25 million now? It was $5 last year. Why? Not the process. We got it. But why? All right, last item. I swear. And this is probably, I was not going to go into this, and then I heard from the Beaufort County School Board, the Beaufort County School District office, so I can quote them, and I will only go there. But anyway, if you're not paying attention, you may want to nudge somebody and tell them to pay attention to this. As we're ready to sign off, I just received word from the Beaufort County School District in reply to a question that we had, asking if anyone on the May River High School campus is under investigation for any type of possible or alleged sexual crime against any minor female student or students. The school district's chief communications officer, Dr. Candace Bruder, replied to me directly with, quote, "The school district is unable to comment on an active law enforcement investigation, and that the individual is no longer allowed on Beaufort County School District property, and that you would need to contact Coastal Security for employment status." That is the end of the conversation. This story obviously is developing. We're going to continue to monitor it and bring you any updates or breaking news that develops. Unfortunately, we still are a society where you are innocent until proven guilty. This is very serious. It's a very sensitive subject. And because this came from the school district's communication officer, I can share it with you as a quote. Capiche? Capiche. All right. Tune in again next week on the show. We're going to have author and media personality James Seidel of Crime and Cast News, the podcast Crime and Cast, the TikTok channel, author of Defending Alex Murdaugh, on our show. You're not going to want to miss this. Oh my God. We're going to talk about this. Who really killed Maggie and Paul Murdoch? Who killed Stephen Smith? At 7 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, simulcasting on BigPatriotRadio.com. Don't forget to like and share this stream. Tell your friends about it. And tell your friends and you, go to those streams and like and share the page, the YouTube page. Share it. Share this show. Send us some stars on Facebook. Don't forget to pick up the book. Don't forget to pick up the book Defending Alex Murdoch by James Seidel. Remember to like and share that as well. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Until next week, as always, be safe and watch your six. Good night, everybody.